Hey there, Oz Konar here. Listen, I have something very special for you. I'm going to walk you through an entire training on how to generate $10,000+ per month as a business loan broker, even if you have no prior experience. And if you do have the experience, you're going to really want to listen to this because we're going to identify so many different ways of generating leads for you. So in essence, I'm going to walk you through how this business works, how to make money with it. I'm going to show 4 different funding options that you can utilize. I will also share something I created called the Business Loan Broker Cash Flow Quadrants, 4 different ways to take this business from making side income all the way up to turning it into a passive investment tool. And I will also show you 20 different ways to generate leads, and a lot of them are actually free ways to generate leads if you watch it until the end. Listen, if you like this channel, if you like these videos, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, so that way when I put together trainings like this, you see and you get notified immediately. So let me put my coffee to the side and let's get started. All right, so 2025 will be a very interesting year, right? So US is already a very small business driven country. In fact, 70% of the massive Goliath US economy is small businesses, small business driven. But now with the new administration, whether you love him or hate him, he's a very business driven person. So that's going to lead to a lot more business formation and business activity. So existing businesses will try to do more to take advantage of the tax benefits, government giving breaks, opportunities for funding and whatnot. People who always thought about starting a business, they will actually be more encouraged to start a business. Now, you can look at this big wave in a couple of different ways. One is, great, I just put my head down and do what I'm doing, my 9 to 5, and this doesn't concern me. Or if you're watching this channel, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you're someone entrepreneurial. You want to make a change. So you'll want to start a business. And the third way is taking advantage of this wave, no matter what businesses people start, what industries they get into. And I'm going to talk about the third option, because if you're happy where you are in life and you're not looking to improve it financially, you're happy with your job and whatnot, there's really no reason for you to watch this. But if you're looking to add supplemental income, and if you have serious concerns about your financial future and you want to make a change, I'm telling you, I've been in business for over a decade. This is probably one of the best years to make that happen. So the question is how and what to do. Let's tackle it one at a time. How is, well, you can generate revenue by starting your own business, but the stats for a new business is not really glamorous, right? A lot of them go out of business even before they complete their 12th month. And if they are in business currently, they're always in need of getting more capital, raising more capital, buying inventory, selling inventory, picking the right geographic location, hiring people, and trying to grow a business that way. So although business is an important vehicle to generate more income, the vehicle you're on is more important, if you know what I mean, right? So what business you start is more important. And many people will fall into the trap of trying to catch the trends. They're going to see that, oh, there's going to be a crypto trend. Let me just try to throw some money at it. Oh, now there is AI, so I'm going to do something with AI. The problem is that a lot of this stuff is experimental. So I'm going to talk to you about a model where you can still make money without starting any of those businesses and help the existing businesses get access to capital, because the number one need they will have as they're starting and growing the business is the capital, right? Can they get money through the bank? Sure, there are different ways to do that. They can start the business the right way. They can start building business credit. They can start paying their bills on time on their business, under their current business, work with a local bank versus the big banks, then apply for a line of credit. They can get access to capital that way. We actually have an entire training on how to build business credit, so you actually do get qualified for funding through the bank. But there's going to be a fraction of the businesses, more than 80-85% of them will not qualify for bank lending. So as a business loan broker, you can monetize people by training them on business credit, but more importantly, you can cater to those who are not going to get capital through the banks. And that's where we specialize in. And instead of starting a business to generate income, find a location, find the customers, you can build a business or create a side gig where you focus on people who are actually looking for capital. Because when you look at a supply and demand chart of what's happening, there are more businesses than there are business loan brokers. So the last time I checked, for example, real estate, as you know, it's a very competitive industry for real estate agents and brokers. There are like 3 million of them, and the available homes sold in, I think last year was like 3 million. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. However, as a business loan broker, there are more than 34 million small businesses, and the business loan brokers is not even more than 10,000. And then this is not even taking into account the startups, people who are starting a business. The other thing that people do not talk about is there are like 4 entities that make money no matter what happens. One is government, right? We've seen through a pandemic and before pandemic, after pandemic, they collect their taxes. No matter what happens in the world, they'll still make money. The other part is pharmaceutical companies. They make money by inventing drugs or inventing diseases for the drugs. The other one is the credit card companies, Visa, MasterCard. They give you a plastic based on a figure like a credit score, based on your like payment history and how well you behave with your finances. And they make crazy amount of percentages on that. The fourth one is the banks. Banks, even if they have failing businesses, government bails them out. But a lot of the times when you deposit your money into a bank account, they give you less than 1% return. But however, if I apply for a credit card and they charge me 24% interest on that credit card, see how this is not even, there's not even no comparison. It's not a fair game, right? Obviously, they'll make a lot more money than the average person, because even if you had substantial amount of money and you wanted to put it into the stock market, what you're aiming for is 5 to 10% annualized return if you put it on S&P 500 and whatnot, while they're getting 20-25% return on your money. As a business loan broker, it allows you to kind of flip the game on them and make money by helping other businesses get access to capital. That's the concept that we're talking about here. Hope this is clear. So if you are getting this up until this point, and if it makes sense, comment below. So I'm going to move on to the next phase. On the next part of this video, I'm going to walk you through 4 different funding options that you can provide as a business loan broker so you generate income by helping each of people who are in each of these categories. But before I go into that, if you don't know who I am, you might be wondering whether you should listen to me or not, which is a very valid question, because as you know, on YouTube, everyone with a microphone can come out and say things, but I want to make sure that you're getting your information from the right source. So I started my first business when I was 7 years old, selling water in free markets. And I came to the United States when I was 16, almost turned 17. And since then, I'm somehow involved with small business ownership. My dad used to own businesses. He failed on businesses. He failed bankruptcy. So I learned about business through many painful experiences. And I finally figured it out when I reached age 30. And within 6 years, my company started generating millions of dollars in revenue, and we built an 8-figure company by following the lifelong principles. And a lot of that happened in the alternative lending industry. Currently, our network, Business Lending Blueprint, so far have funded over $300 million in small business funding. So we're in this game of not only training people, but funding deals on a day-to-day basis through our own lending company, through our partners and whatnot. That's why when I talk about certain things, it comes from actually being in the day-to-day, either running the investment part, approving customers, underwriting deals through our teams, and watching the deal flow through our massive community. So when I look at that model, there are 4 major opportunities that you can take advantage of as a business loan broker when it comes to the types of funding that you can provide. Number one is US is very hungry for new business, right? There's a major startup culture like no other country. I know Dubai is kind of trying, but they're not even close to it. So everyone in the United States, at least 70% of the adult population in the United States at some point thought about starting a business. So number one option, you can go to startup funding, helping someone get access to credit at 0% interest. So these credit card companies, Chase, Bank of America, mainly Chase and Bank of America, and the others follow suit, is that they provide introductory rates and credit cards. So you can get 0% interest for 12 months, 16 months, all the way up to 24 months. But the average individual who wants to start a business, they don't know how to utilize it, meaning that they go ahead and apply to whatever is advertised on Google. But there is a way, if you know how to structure it properly, it can help those people get access to up to $120,000 of these 0% interest introductory rate funding opportunities. And you can charge a success fee by helping them, because if on their own, they wouldn't be able to max out on that one, right? So they would be able to maybe apply 1 or 2 credit cards, get approved for 30, 40K, but they wouldn't know how to do that. So the structured way to do that. So that's the number one way to generate income as a business loan broker. Average transaction, like, when you put this together, it could be $2,000 to $3,000 for a successful client. So even if you get one client a month, that is 2 to 3K of substantial, supplemental income. Maybe that's not enough to replace your current income at a job, but that's a great starting point, knowing that most people in the United States live paycheck to paycheck. Number 2 option is the massive small business community in the United States. They have their associations, they have Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups. There are more than 30 million of them, some active, some not active, but they are hungry for money. This is the existing small business market, and they need capital to grow the business, save the business, make the payroll, buy out their competition, buy equipment, buy inventory and whatnot. They need money every single day. And look for the search results on Google, like how many people are searching for business loans every single day. It's a humongous number of opportunities. Number 3 option is equipment financing. Anything a business buys to make the business work is considered an equipment, and they can finance that. So yeah, you can go to Best Buy and buy a TV for your restaurant, but if your fridge breaks, you need to buy that fridge, right? Yeah, you can put it on the credit card maybe, but the fridge itself can cost $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. And if you go to a bank to apply for a loan, it can take 6 weeks. Imagine you're a restaurant, you have fresh food, they're about to go bad, and then you need to buy equipment. That's what equipment financing does. If you're a trucking company and you know that if you just added another truck to your fleet, it would have made you another 50K, how many more trucks would you want to buy, as long as you can maintain finding a driver and whatnot, right? And maybe there are some opportunities that if you buy an equipment at a discounted rate, maybe it became available. There's just rare equipments that you can only find every once in a while. It comes to the market, you just need that $100,000, and there's no way to do that. So this is actually a $2 trillion industry, believe it or not. No one really knows about it. It's equipment financing. You basically focus on either vendors who are selling these equipments or companies who buy equipments and give them an option. What they do is they give you the details on the equipment, the part number, the SKU number, and all of that, and you work with the equipment lenders to fund those deals. As a broker, that's what it is. Your broker is the middleman, middlewoman, making money from the transaction. You bring the buyers with the sellers. In this case, people who want to buy something and people who want to fund what they're buying with certain terms. So equipment leasing is the third great option to generate massive income in this industry. Within our network, we know people are making 20, 30, 50K per month just doing that. Number 4 option is the real estate funding option. So many real estate people kind of have it ass backwards, right? They focus on becoming a real estate agent, broker, and helping first-time home buyers buy home. Someone has to do that. Good luck if you want to do that. It's one of the most competitive industries. Whereas the real estate investment industry is usually wide open. If you follow Warren Buffett's advice, when there's blood in the market on the streets, you go invest. Means that when people are spooked by the interest rates or the economy and all that stuff, investors go in and buy multifamily homes. That's what I used to do. We used to have multifamily homes. I would go to distressed areas, basically, where the economy is not doing well and people are trying to get rid of their multifamily homes. That's how you get the best deals, right? That's how we accumulated some deals. So current market is very advantageous for the real estate investors, whether they want to buy and hold, whether they want to buy and turn it into an Airbnb, whether they want to buy a land and build something on top of that. That's a very untapped industry. And we have actually lenders in our lender network that can fund deals like that. And it's extremely lucrative. These are high ticket items. Usually the funding is anywhere from $250,000 to $10-15 million. And obviously the commissions on those are proportional. But whether you join our program or not, you can reach out to alternative lenders. These are unconventional lending opportunities, and talk to them to see if they would work with you if you have a desire to work in that niche. So those are 4 different niches that you can make money in the alternative lending industry. And let's talk about how you actually make money, because I can hear some of you say that, hey Oz, this is all nice and dandy, but you're already giving a lot of information. I'm busy. I'm a single mom with 3 kids, or I'm a construction worker. I'm tired. I don't have a lot of time, or I'm already in a business. I see what you're doing, like this program and the industry is amazing. However, I'm already involved in another business. no worries. That's why I created the business loan broker cash flow quadrants, because for years I've been talking about different ways to get involved, but I couldn't quite put it in a diagram to simplify it for people, right? So if you remember who Robert Kiyosaki is, he had the cash flow quadrants, like 4 quadrants. That's what quadrants mean. The first one is that you sell your time for a certain hourly rate, right? So most jobs are like that. So you have a certain skill set. Market says, all right, Oz, based on your skill set, your hour is worth X dollars per hour. How many hours are you willing to exchange for that? And I say, yeah, I'm going to work 50 hours. Cool, man. Here's your income, right? That's a job, basically. That's one of the quadrants. Second quadrant is small business, self-employed. The self-employed, a lot of times, this is a glorified job, right? You have to be at that store for 12 hours, 14 hours a day until you can afford to hire employees and you have an hourly rate. At the end of the day, if you generated $1,000 a day, you put in 10 hours, your hourly rate is $100 an hour. Simple as that. It still doesn't save you unless you grow the business. There's no way that you're gonna get out of that hamster wheel, right? The third option is actual business owner. So you just duplicate yourself. You have employees and you give them specific tasks, and each employee is generating more revenue for you. So you're not necessarily exchanging hours or money, but your business is growing exponentially because you duplicated yourself through multiple employees. Last one is the investment part. So you get this. I don't want to be boring. You probably have seen this, probably seen the book. If you haven't, you got to read it. The problem I have with the Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant is that it is too generic, right? So it's a framework, and frameworks are usually generic. It gives you a guideline on how to look at things from a certain perspective, so you have something to aim for. That's what the cash flow quadrants give you. However, the problem is when I look at this, I don't know how to take it and apply it to my current situation, right? So that's the situation with many people. If you have a job right now, you're making $50K a year and you want to increase it to 70, 80, 90K, you see that quadrants, like 4 quadrants, you're like, this is awesome, Robert, but what do I do now? Because yeah, if you want to jump from having a job to a business owner, you need to first identify the vehicle that you're going to be using. So anyways, I took that model because I wanted to make sure that it's clear for everyone, created 4 quadrants. So the first one is that applies to most people is refer and earn, right? So you making money by finding people who are looking for funding, and you simply refer to funding partners. Refer meaning name, email, and phone number, and have the funding partner or another broker. Basically, if you know another business loan broker, you can have that arrangement with that person. Like you can reach out to a business loan broker and say that, hey man, I can give you leads, and in return, you're going to give me X number of dollars. I'm going to provide the name, email, and phone number because I don't know enough about this industry. I don't really know what I'm doing. I just know that there are people who need money. I'm sure, I guarantee you know people who will need money only if they knew that you could provide it to them by using OPM. That's the first quadrant that eliminates the whole challenge of, hey, I don't have enough time. I want to learn something, but I just, again, don't have enough time. I have to show up to a job. I'm responsible from, aging family members. Whatever your reason is, completely valid. I'm not questioning it, but it doesn't stop you from doing that. That's the first quadrant. Is that the best option ever? No, that's not the most lucrative option because you're going to be sharing some of the revenue with the person who's actually doing the funding work behind the scenes. That's why the second quadrant is partner and earn. So what you do is you learn the business a little bit. In the alternative lending industry, the business itself, the paperwork part, is one of the easiest because when we make funding decisions, we're primarily making it based on how the business is doing, right? So you check out the bank accounts, say a small business, what you do is you see how much revenue they generated for that month minus the expenses. What is the net profit? Can the net profit sustain a loan? If so, by how much? That's not your job to figure out. That's not a business loan broker's job to figure out. That's the underwriter's job to figure out. We have underwriters who look at those files every single day and make a funding decision. And how likely is this person to pay that back? You also check the person's credit score to find out, hey, can we give this person a startup funding, which requires very high credit, 680 and above, or they might have pretty bad credit. Credit is shot, which is the case with a lot of small businesses, but businesses generating some kind of revenue. And honestly, by revenue, I don't mean hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. As long as they're in business for like 2-3 months, like 4 months ideally, and they're generating $5,000 and more per month, a lot of them are pre-qualified for funding, right? So the second quadrant is gathering those documents and handing it off to the underwriter. underwriter, right? So you work with funding companies, tell them, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring you 4 months of bank statements, and there's like a 1-page application that you get the customer to fill out. And then the rest is done by the funding company. Rest meaning that they underwrite the file, they get the approval. With your permission, they reach out to your customer and fund it. So the second quadrant is where you make more money than the refer and earn, because with refer and earn, your contribution to the whole deal is basically providing name, email, and phone number. The second one is you're contributing a little more. The third quadrant is you become a full-fledged business loan broker, by definition, right? So not only you have the documentation from the customer, you run it through underwriting, either our underwriting by joining Business Lending Blueprint or your own connections in the lending industry. And then when they approve it, you bring it back to the customer and basically tell the customer, hey, Mr. Merchant, here's the option. You wanted to buy that fridge as soon as possible. Here's the approval that I have for you. If you like the terms, sometimes you have 2-3 different offers. Here is how much you're going to be getting paid in your bank account, probably in the next 2-3 days. Here is how much you pay back. And our underwriting team figured that you are in a position to pay it back. Do you agree with the terms? If yes, sign the dotted line and the funding process starts and you get paid your commission. So that's where you make on average $3,000 to $5,000 per deal. That's the very lucrative area that I highly suggest that if you're aiming for somewhere to go in the next 2, 3, 5 months, depending on how you do it, you can do it on your own. Obviously, it's going to be a lot more challenging if you're trying to trial and error and doing it yourself versus if you trust a system like we have. We have thousands of people have gone through our system and became business loan brokers. The fourth quadrant is the passive investment. So when you bring files to the underwriter, they are approving the files. Someone is funding those deals, right? That money is coming from somewhere. And unlike banks, that when you get a credit card from the bank, money is coming from the bank. But bank has the money from someone else. Someone else deposits money, and bank take that money and give it to you as in the form of a credit through the plastic, right? They can also print money through the government and get that, right? So the bank gets the money from the government too in the form of aids or bailouts and all that stuff. So it's a whole different ball game. But in the alternative lending industry, the money comes from private lenders. So people who have a net worth of a few $1 million, accredited investors, or business loan brokers, surprisingly. So you can pitch it into your own deals. It's called partial syndication. I'm not going to get into the terminology. It's not that complex. So basically, on the deals that you bring to the table, you make money as an investor if you either ask the lender to hold your commission in there, so to turn into an investment opportunity. If you're in a position to become one of the lenders, you fund some of the deals yourself. So that's the fourth quadrant. That's one of the most passive income opportunities. Nothing is 100% passive, but it usually requires a few hours a month, honestly, to watch over your portfolio. We have many people, including myself, as the lenders in the lending industry. So those are the 4 quadrants. And let me know if the 4 different funding options and the 4 quadrants make sense so far. Comment below with your questions before I move on to the next exciting lesson, which is how to find these people. How do you find people who are looking for money? I'm going to walk you through 20 different ways to do that, so you can pick and choose however you want to get there, so you can start generating leads and start making money. All right, so when you think about leads, people who are looking for funding, they're everywhere, right? But I promise you that I'll be more specific. So I'm going to go through a couple of different options. When it comes to lead generation in this industry, honestly, if someone is telling us a leads problem, they have a marketing issue, right? So it's almost never the leads problem. It is what you do with the leads or not having a systematic way of generating leads. When you're starting out, whoever you know is your lead pool, right? So you can reach out to them and ask them, hey, I'm connected with a couple of lenders who fund small businesses. If you're interested, I can help you check out what your options are. However, if you go more strategic, I'm going to walk you through specific ways to generate leads. One of the easiest ones that is almost completely free, other than your gas, basically, is local networking. So pick any chamber of commerce in any city. I can guarantee you that more than 99% of them do not have a business loan broker. They have a banker, they have an alarm company, they have an insurance person, they definitely have a real estate person, they have other types of small businesses, and most of them, they do not have a business loan broker. So when you walk into a chamber of commerce meeting, usually the first couple of meetings are free. You walk in and you join, someone sponsors you. They even give you like a 5-minute pitch time where you can go on and talk about what it is that you do. It's a great opportunity. If you want to find out other options, you go to meetup.com. Meetup.com, there are a lot of local meetings. Obviously, if you're in a big city like in New York City, there's so many of them. If you're in a small city, there's a lot going on. Regardless of the type of meetings, like I see that there's a lot of AI related events going on. That's okay. You might not be an AI person, but who do you think is there? AI enthusiasts who want to make money by doing something with AI. That's your startup opportunity, and that's your small business opportunity. Also, eventbrite.com. Eventbrite is awesome. It's also free. You can see a schedule of events like throughout, there's hundreds of them. You pick and choose. It pushes you out of your comfort zone if you don't like going to events, but if you want to build side income, you got to get out of your comfort zone either ways, right? So if you want to build this full time, just check it out, right? It doesn't cost you anything. If you're more into real estate, there are real estate events going on in every city, right? They meet every so often. You go to those events and you meet people who own properties, you meet property managers, you meet commercial lenders, people with connections. The real estate industry is very connected. Once you're in there, you're going to generate leads. So that's the number one way of generating leads completely free. The other way is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a massive networking opportunity because it's a professional network. Unlike, Facebook, unlike Instagram, people are there for business. Either they're looking for a job, they're looking to grow their portfolio, connections and whatnot. You can use LinkedIn by building your profile as a business loan broker and then sending strategic connection requests to certain industries. If your background is in dentistry or medical offices, you can start connecting with dentists and then they're all there, right? So 40,000 of them are there. You can send messages and then you can start generating leads, start conversations virtually. The other thing is free groups. LinkedIn has a lot of free groups that are business related in any topic basically, right? That's number 3 way to get leads, LinkedIn groups. Number 4 is Facebook groups. You're probably on Facebook. When you're there, search for small business groups. There are generic small business groups, small business funding groups. There's very vertical specific groups like plumbers, roofers, the people who need capital on an ongoing basis. Restaurants is super hot industry. I'm actually going to put up a list on the screen of some of the industries. This is from only one of our lenders, and we have so many other lenders. Some of the industries that you can actually fund. And as you kind of scroll through the list on your screen, you'll see the diversity of the funding options that you can provide. And each one of them is probably a Facebook group that you can go right now, join, and friending people and start DMing them. A lot of Facebook groups will not allow you to create a post, so because they don't want people to spam it, but you can start commenting below people's posts, needing something, make friends there, and you generate leads, which is completely free. Craigslist, another one. Craigslist is a platform where you can post jobs and post like projects and things like that. It's only a few dollars for local communities, local cities that you can post. So believe it or not, the first time we started the lending business, Craigslist was our go-to option. We're spending $70, $75 a day posting in different cities, and would generate us so many leads. Craigslist is still there. It's probably one of the ugliest looking sites, but it still works, right? Hey, we don't judge them based on how the site looks. We judge them based on the results that you get. Upwork and Fiverr, very underrated. So you can create an Upwork profile, a Fiverr profile as a seller, right? And you can offer funding services. I'm going to evaluate your business for funding. Let's check out your funding opportunities. And people pay to jump on a call with you. So even whether they get funding or not, you can help them get advice from you through Upwork and Fiverr, and you make money while you're getting them access to capital. So this Upwork and Fiverr is for more advanced people who actually can do a funding assessment. If you're brand new, it might not really work out for you, but if you're in the industry and you're not tapping into it, you're probably leaving a lot of money on the table. Another option is the obvious one, but common sense is not so common sometimes, is family and friends, people who are around you, right? You don't want to be the best kept secret if you're doing this. You don't need to tell them that, all of a sudden you became a business loan broker. You can just tell them, hey, you have some connections in the lending industry and you can make introductions to them, right? That's why, I talked to you about the refer and earn option. You refer people and make money that way. Friends and family is another option. Email marketing, huge. Like even if you don't use any email tools and you have access to Gmail, you can buy a domain for a few dollars. Like, I don't know, Oz at, businessfunding.com. Obviously that's not going to be available, something longer, and set up your Gmail, and you can can look up all of that online and start sending emails to people slowly. And you can get the emails from Google, right? If you're targeting restaurants, San Fran restaurants, and you see the email addresses and start doing emails that way. It's not completely free, but it is less than $100 a month, like relatively cheap. Same thing with SMS marketing. Now we got to be careful with SMS marketing. You need to have an opt-in in place. Otherwise, you might get into legal trouble if you just do an SMS blast. But it's very simple to have them opt in. Let's say you're sending email, tell them if you want more information, click on this link. They can opt in, and it gives you a way to build your list so you can start sending text messages, because I get about 30 calls a day from random spam calls, and I don't know, if I don't know the number, I don't answer the phone, but I get text messages. I read all of them, right? So text messaging is very, very powerful tool for generating these nurturing leads. If you're an existing business loan broker and you're not utilizing text messages, I guarantee you that you're leaving a lot of money on the table. We recently activated this for one of our clients, and the results are amazing. So they're getting 5-10 book calls every single day through text message campaigns. Local SEO. It's very easy to rank for business loan brokers in your local city. Again, there's no saturation, so many people are bidding on the Google ads to get the leads. But if you're living in a town in Ohio, and let's say there's like 50 people searching a month for business loans, you're not capturing that as a business loan broker. That's a major, major problem. Even if you're just starting out as a business loan broker and you just have your website up, for example, in Business Lending Blueprint, we give you the website, the collateral, the marketing, and all of that. So then the next thing is you can just dominate your local SEO market. Those are just free leads. Once you rank there, it's a lot easier to rank than other professions like a plumber, a roofer, and all these people. It's a lot more complicated to rank for them because there's usually local competition, but not so much for business loan brokers. So if you want to go on the ads route, I know there's a lot of stigma around ads. It takes a lot of money to succeed and all that stuff. I can tell you that I built an 8-figure business mostly on paid advertising. It's very, very lucrative. However, I understand when you're starting out, you might have these imaginary numbers in your mind that it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. No, if you work with the right people, we actually give the frameworks within Business Lending Blueprint, the ads themselves, and an AI platform that can help you run the ads for you. So you can actually start with as low as $5-10 a day to generate leads, right? You can do the same thing on Google, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and those are all the platforms basically. So that gives you 4 or 5 other paid advertising options to generate leads. Partnerships, huge, right? So I built a good network of bankers who provided leads to me on a daily basis. So it's called bank turndowns. When a small business goes to the bank, when they need money, your local pizzeria, they walk into the PNC bank and they're looking for small business funds. The bank manager knows that the odds of her getting that pizzeria funded is less than 10%. Okay, it's a bank turndown. They'll still collect the paperwork. They're going to push it through their small business banker. It's going to take 2 to 6 weeks for them to basically get a no, and then you have a turndown, right? So the small business is very upset, so you can bank on it. So you're probably using some kind of bank right now. Start building relationship with the bank managers, bank tellers. You can even do that virtually, right? So you can start the relationships on LinkedIn and start connecting with them. This is an ongoing revenue source for business loan brokers, is very untapped. So once you have those relationships in place, they're dealing with businesses every day. These are major corporations spending billions of dollars a year to attract small businesses to bank with them. So you don't need to have that budget. You can utilize their deficiency of not being able to provide funding to small businesses. They also have a lot of small businesses, like new businesses, opening a checking account. What is the first thing you do when you set up your LLC? You go to a bank and start a checking account. Well, one of the easiest ways to get them startup funding. So if you train your bank managers, your tellers, whoever, your small business banker, you can generate ongoing referral leads, and you can have referral agreements with them as long as obviously their corporation allows them. They accept it. I had cases where they didn't accept. I had cases where they gladly accepted. It's a one-on-one relationship thing. The other thing is the revenue source is salespeople. There are a lot of salespeople out there selling stuff door to door. Like you have your solar people, you have your liquor people, you have your POS people, you have your payroll people. You have people selling to small businesses all the time. Why do you think they're out there? like knocking on doors, when it's like scorching hot, when it's -10. That's what I used to do. Like, it's not fun. You do it because you're a very driven person. You want to make a lot of money. Building partnerships with those people make you a lot of money. That's how a business loan broker partnered up with me. I was a door-to-door salesperson in New York City. He was the one who approached me asking me, hey, do you want to make more money from your existing contacts? Like, you have a Rolodex of people who you're selling POS services, payroll services. What if you introduce funding to them? And that's how I made my first $4,000 from a deal. And it was basically an introduction. I just told him, hey, I started working with this guy. I know you, John, so you want to talk to him? Your restaurant might need funding. And he took on from that point, and he cut me a check for $4,000. So this is a major referral source. There's tens of thousands of salespeople out there who are selling stuff every single day to businesses. So you can target those people and build strategic partnerships. The other thing is vendors. Anyone who's selling some kind of machine to someone else. So you can start building relationships with them because they're going to be your equipment financing partners. So you can, bring a flyer to them, start working with them. It can be a referral relationship because they might be working with a bank. Well, they're going to run into the same problem. They might be financing internally, but they're going to be people that they don't want to be financing internally. So you become the go-to person for them as a business loan broker. As you can see, we're at like 18, 19 different lead generation sources right now. There's so many of them. And vertical specific newsletters. So if you're focusing on orthodontists, right, they have a newsletter, they have a Facebook group. You can reach out whoever is publishing that newsletter, and sometimes for like $100, $200, they can do an email blast into their community promoting your services. Orthodontist is just one, niche example. There are hundreds of different niches. And the last one is organic videos. What you're watching is a form of organic marketing. Me coming out, sharing my experience and expertise with you, right? So if you're comfortable in getting in front of the camera and talking, it's one of the least competitive places. Like the organic marketing for business loan brokers, you have thousands of people talking about Amazon FBA, crypto, real estate. When it comes to funding, you can create videos about different funding options, how they can reach you. You can target local people because people use YouTube as like a search engine. You can take advantage of that. So I think that concludes. I've given a lot of examples. I can go on and on and on and on. This is what I do for a living. But I just wanted to give you a comprehensive training and how to look at this business from a different angle. Like when people hear business loan brokerage, they have different things that comes to mind for them, right? They might think that it's going to require a lot of capital, or they might think that they need to have prior experience, or they might think that they need to be a closer. They never sold anything, or they might think that they need to drop what they're doing right now to do this. So I hopefully eliminated all of that for you to understand how to start this business. There's so many ways to do that. There are more right ways to do that than the wrong ways. Hopefully you see the value in this one. Obviously, if you're interested in having us, give a tried and true method of doing the business with all the technology you need, I highly suggest that you check out what we do at Business Lending Blueprint. There's a link below for you to schedule a call. It's like a demo call with my team. No one's going to pressure you to buy anything. You can check what we have. But if you don't do it, that's perfectly okay. So I just wanted to give you an in-depth understanding of how the business works, give you different perspectives on why, because I made a claim that this is one of the best businesses to start. Hopefully this video allowed me to justify that. So let me know if you have any questions. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do like the video if you really like this content, and comment below so I can hear your thoughts. Take care now.